favourite Westlife song, man? What's good, people? It's Theo here from Prohibition Vapes, and today we got the guys from DRS, all the way from that Isle of Rainbows and Pots of Gold and all that sort of shit. Bill mentioned to say that, you know, I can't necessarily mention too much about you guys being Irish, so we'll try and make sure we don't do too much of that in the interview.
I don't believe it.
I mean,
at all. For a second.
It's not in the script.
Yeah.
But
you're telling me all you know about Ireland
we're gonna figure.
After all we've been through, like, all you know is fucking rainbows and pots of gold.
We know about making sure that, you know, we're not fulfilling any stereotypes here. I mean, I'm the only black guy in the main crew, but yeah.
I feel like we're being lied to.
Yeah. No, we're set up here.
We know what's to come then. He held back there with rainbows.
Wrap it up. I'm done.
Those of you at home that don't say know about DRS, give us a little introduction about you guys, man. What you do?
Where are we from?
Yeah. Specifics.
Well, I'm Mark, and this is Marcus.
Yes.
And we're from Ireland, and we're Dead Rabbit Society. Dead Rabbit Society started a long time ago. Funny enough, we were talking about Vape Jam 2015 earlier. That's when we started Vintage Vape Rooms, which is our first venture into the industry.
Nice.
In Ireland. But around that time, we'd actually created the brand Dead Rabbit Society before we ever opened up the doors of Vintage. Dead Rabbit Society was the brainchild of me and my business partner kind of tweaking a name for a members club.
Nice.
And we got it from two different concepts, one being the Dead Poets Society versus the Dead Rabbits of the Gangs of New York.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And the idea was it would be an exclusive members club. We created the logo and the brand, and then we just knew there was a lot to it. We just hadn't figured out what it was yet, but it was always prominent in our shop and everything that we did and shared. And eventually it became the product that it is today. It became a juice line, and we're very proud of it. It's done very well.
I mean, you should be very proud of it. It's one of the biggest to come out in the whole Isles, and you know, you guys have stood the test of time, really. So,
yeah, nearly 2 years.
Yeah,
no, we've come a long way. We're very proud of it. We're very brand orientated. I think the brand's been very well received, especially by you guys here in Prohibition, and you know, everybody we've got to know through our time on the circuit. To think about it, it's been a crazy 2 years. Crazy, it's scary. Yeah.
It's been a great pleasure to work with you guys, but you know, there's a question that's really kind of been bubbling within us all, and like, what's your favourite Westlife song, man?
I fucking knew something was coming. Like. Is that it? Is that all I get? Is that it? That's soft. I thought you were gonna go.
I've been thinking about it, man.
Is Flying Without Wings? Is that Westlife?
Is it?
Pretty sure it is,
I think it is.
Yeah,
sure?
it is, yeah.
I think it is.
Okay, what's your favourite Westlife song? I'm gonna go with Flying Without Wings.
I'm gonna go with Flying Without Wings.
Yeah.
I can't, that's the core one we all remember from back in the day and everything. Like,
What's your favourite Westlife song?
Don't listen to that.
He does.
It's for women.
Well, Mark, I heard you look like Nicky Byrne. Though.
I'll tell you, Nicky.
I'm a rich man. He's a good looking dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, so partial jokes aside, like, so how did you guys get introduced into the vaping industry and everything like that? So
well, it was a weird one for me because
I
was Mark's first customer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So I stopped smoking, and I remember there was one shop that we all used to go to, and then I found out on Facebook that Vintage Vape Rooms was open. I remember I walked in, I was like, Jesus, this is unreal. There's another vape shop to go to and hang around in town. And there's this Space Jam hat on the counter.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't give it to me for ages. And I got it out of him eventually. But then, it went on through that, like going to the Irish vape show that was on. And then I managed to actually get a job with Grey Hayes, working with V-God. So I went to work with them, and I just kind of missed home, that kind of stuff. So I rang Mark, I said, listen, if I come home, is there any chance that you give me a job? And then he gave me a job. So I ran the shops, all that kind of stuff, and then moved then into the distribution and working then with the juice line.
Nice.
So it's kind of been a weird one for me, because I kind of went into the vape industry and into the deep end when like the UK was like massive. Everything was new. People were buying loads of vape stuff. Like, it was crazy.
That's
and
the
then
thing, like,
you go back to Ireland and it's like not even half of what it was here. So it was really strange for me to go back to, because I was just used to dealing with so much and coming back, and like distributions weren't even a thing in Ireland when I got started in it. Like, that's the kind of thing, you know.
Because I mean, like, the scene in the UK, obviously at the time when we were talking about Vape Jam, like, it was kind of, that was almost like the booming point of like the culture side of it, if you will. But like, I understand completely about the whole getting into it from like being a customer. Like, quite a lot of us at Pro were kind of like there when it opened, regulars and everything like that, and we kind of, you know, shared the same ethos, if you will, to the point where it's like we had to come and work for the team and everything. So yeah, that's a.
To be fair, there's a bit more to that.
What?
So when I opened up Vintage, the other shop he's talking about was the Vape Cafe in Dublin, and that was like the cool shop at the time. It was a great shop. Marcus was kind of, he was integrated into like the Facebook groups and stuff in Ireland at the time. He was into the latest products, and he had a personality already developed within the industry before I actually started in the industry. And I actually tried to get him to work with us a few times, and I remember talking to the Vape Cafe because that would upset them. Remember all that?
Oh,
Yeah,
I actually do now, yeah.
So I actually tried to get him to work with us for a long time. But I was worried that he had such a good like relationship with the Vape Cafe, which I did too at the time. And we were doing some things together, like cloud sessions and stuff like that. So I was always trying to kind of poach Marcus, and I did approach him a few times. I don't know, he kind of just got a real job for a while. But I'm glad he's seen the light and came on board. But Marcus has been there from day one, like, you know. At the time when we opened up Vintage and we were in a basement in Temple Bar, no one came in for 2 days. And I was like, shit, man. Like, I was already applying for jobs and stuff. I was like, it's not gonna work. And Marcus came in with a fella called Keane and just was like, this was the first time I'd met him, like, in the shop and stuff. And then I got to know him after and tried to get him to work with us. But his enthusiasm for it just like justified what I thought about it as well. And like back then, like what, 4 or 5 years ago, what we believed, which has come true today, and the industry has blossomed and developed, and everyone can see that now. We all believed that back then, but we were kind of on our own. You know what I mean? And it was reassuring for me when I met someone like Marcus at the time, who was much more developed as a vapor than me, much more developed in product knowledge and stuff like that. I just seen the other side of things. So
I know that sort of thing, like, it's kind of a bit difficult when you know, establish a business that's kind of new in an industry, and then you kind of, you know, when you kind of get into it, kind of, you get a bit worried about the development and the initial sort of reaction, but it always takes that little kind of push, and then eventually it becomes like almost like a
it's, I guess it's like any business. You have to dig deep and just believe and be persistent and keep the lights on for a while till it all starts ticking.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was an interesting time. Like back then, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, like, as like from where our business went from that point, from where Marcus came in, like I had just attended Vape Jam, the very first one, and like 3 milligram had just come out, like, and no one in Ireland had 3 milligram. So I opened up a shop and we had 3 milligram nicotine, and people like people still had Nautiluses and Nautilus Minis and iStick 30 watts, and like 3 milligram just didn't make sense to people. And I suppose people probably thought we were idiots opening up a shop with like low milligram nicotine, but we did it. Like, you know, we not only did we like go against like the grain of what the industry was at the time, which was just focused on, you know, sterile shops that, you know, sold nicotine replacement devices in a very Specsavers kind of way. You know what I mean? So we had to like build an industry in Ireland and grow an industry in a niche that didn't really exist, on top of trying to build a business and build a brand and you know, stay sane, I guess, as well.
That's the thing, like with the whole free MG thing, like it's weird that was almost like not really commonplace, but that is the industry standard now. It's an interesting one.
Well, like at the time, I guess, like, you know, cloud chasing had just come out, and it was a big scene in America. There was just no need to have a 3 milligram nicotine at the time because of the devices that people needed. So in order for our venture to succeed into like premium e-liquids and be that like retail shop in Dublin that sold these products, we needed the hardware to support it as well, which we did too. You know, we got that into the market as well. We were the first to have rig mods, SOIs, Kennedys, all that sort of stuff, you know.
Yeah, man. I used to love rigs. I had a rig V2. I had the SOI Legendary. That was my first, actually.
Yeah,
that was the first. That was the first mech I had, and that was the first official mech that I got from Bill, which was actually really cool. So yeah, that was like almost the initial catalyst.
That was all mental though.
Yeah.
That was crazy when that kind of stuff came out.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing it at, what was the Vape Fest?
Vape Fest,
Yeah, JD had a case of them, and I was like, what are they? And he's like, they're vapes. I was like, how is that a vape?
Yeah, that was when
I
Rick
remember like paying £200 for one, like a week's wage at the time.
Yeah.
Walking around with this metal pole, people looking at you like you're a weirdo. You know,
Yeah.
in a way, it's just
got some sort of wizard stick.
yeah, it's just
But everybody was intrigued.
Exactly.
like I remember when temperature
It
control.
sparked everybody's fucking imagination. Just like,
Temperature
what the
control
fuck is
came
that?
out like, and
Yeah.
that was like wizardry.
Really
And then
evil.
like 6 months later, everyone realised that was all just bullshit. And it didn't work.
Bull,
Yeah, you're spending £200 in the mod.
No,
And
you-
does,
no-
does, you're like, oh
no
yeah,
one
has
even
temperature
really
control.
knew how to use it back in the day.
Yeah,
That's
has
the thing.
temperature control, but like I don't use it.
Uh,
I have it though, if you want to know.
It's just there. It's just
Yeah.
there. So, like, what are you guys vaping on right now?
I'm vaping on a stick, disposable, salt nick,
Is that what is that? Lush?
lush ice,
Lush
yeah.
ice,
And it just dawned on me the other day, like V-God really were the first people to say ice. It only dawned on me the other day.
Ooh. Hold tight, V-God. They're on man.
Yeah, fair play to them. V-God's a brand that we kind of built our business on at a period of time as well. V-God would have been a brand that I would say changed us on terms of, actually it completely changed us because we did cloud sessions and we got tricksters over from
60
V-God
mils.
and we put on a couple of cloud session gigs in a big theatre in Dublin. We got massive turnouts. And from then on, people wanted the hoodies, they wanted the t-shirts, and then we were the first again to bring something new, which was 120 mils.
Nice.
And we were selling them in the shop and stuff. So
For like
Lush Ice
£60.
was a big part of
Remember
our
that?
journey.
120 mils, like
Yeah.
£60.
Yeah, that was crazy back in the day. Like, I love how there's a lot of like debate and sort of almost like snobbery and like, oh yeah, I'm not paying fucking £20 for.
But that's the
for
crazy thing though,
120,
€60
like,
for
60.
100 mils of
I
juice.
I
like.
remember a friend of mine used to have bottles, like big, like 120 bottles of Ruthless
Glass ones.
Yeah, the glass
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
And
The
he just
dripper didn't even go all the
didn't
way to
even
the
go
end.
away,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he had to decant them into
Yeah, yeah.
bottles. But like he just had bottles of them in his living room. It's like, how much money have you spent on juice? It's insane. What about you, Marcus? What you want? Your billet box?
Billet box, yeah.
Nice.
And I'm vaping Charlie Shock Dust Passion Hammer. Yeah. It's I don't know, I have this real weird taste for juice every now and then. I kind of just like to get outside the box. To be honest, I actually spilled a bottle of it on my hand. That's the only reason I'm vaping it, because it smelled so nice when I spilled it. I said I'd vape it, and that's that, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What's
What
on?
are you vaping on?
Oh, actually, I'm on. I've got the One IQ or the IQ1 actually, and I'm on some Super Rainbow Candy and straps.
It's good juice.
Some salt. Yeah, it's good. It's a good little device as well.
What I don't like about this situation is, somewhere along the way, vaping became the act of smoking again.
Yeah.
And I found myself doing it.
Yeah.
And I was really disappointed. And
Yeah.
I haven't reverted back.
No,
Yeah,
I'm a
since.
hobbyist, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody like did this to the industry a long time ago. I suppose when Jill came out maybe. And it's kind of reverted back to the act of smoking.
But yeah, I guess like we do still have that hobbyist sort of side that's still quite prominent, if you will. Like, I'm still using squonks here and there and all that sort of stuff. But I'm trying to get back into.
I think though, if you're vaping that long, it kind of gets like really, really bland.
Yeah.
Like there's no new technology in hardware at all. Like I vape that because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's a sub-ohm setup that you put in your pocket, you can drop it, you can do it. I don't want glass breaking, do you know that kind of way? Whereas there's people that will still go out and buy multiple mods and so on. I get that, I've done it. I spent thousands on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? There was one point I had like 25 setups or something like that. It's just daft.
Yeah.
But now I just pick one that works and go with it, you know, the kind of way. And I think everyone gets to that point on it as well.
For sure.
They just, right, this works for me, I'm going to use this.
It's the thing. I used to be a bit of a mech addict. I was on mech addicts as well.
Thought you said something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Close. Nearly exposed myself. Don't worry about that, guys. I'm sorry, mum. But yeah, like mechs. I used to love mechs. I'm still a big fan of the Dragon mods. That's still one of my favorite. Like,
That was a
mechs
big
out there.
subculture though.
Yeah,
Mech
exactly.
mods.
That.
Like if you were in, like there was, you used to be in the groups and there was them people that like were mad known.
Yeah.
And you always wanted to be that person.
Exactly. You always wanted that
Yeah.
one mod, or you always wanted
And
to be...
like when serial numbers became a thing.
Yeah.
So it's like if you had like in the top 10, you were like a celebrity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, hold me that number 3 or whatnot.
Yeah.
So in terms of like juices in the general industry though, like what's some of your favourites that you've kind of seen as a recent?
Anything that we stock.
Good point. Good point.
I think another big thing for us was, and this kind of became our skill set, and it stands to us today especially, is in our pursuit of trying to be the best, trying to capture that niche side of the market in Ireland. We not only pursued the hottest hardware or the most sought after hardware and tried to get it in first, we were also bringing in exclusive worldwide brands, free liquids and stuff. A lot of them were American based at the time.
Yeah.
And we really got an opportunity back then to bring in a brand and be represented by that brand and known, that we were the ones that made it happen, basically, you know. And that kind of just became our routine. And every time we'd drop a new brand every couple of months, and we'd be exclusively doing it in Ireland and stuff, and that led us into distribution and stuff. But one thing that I noticed from doing that process is we really went for the best. We really went for what worked and what we believed to be quality and satisfying on a taste point of view as well.
For sure.
And that just kind of led us into brand development and kind of sparked our interest on social media and stuff, and kind of we developed throughout the years, and our game got stronger. But we consistently did that with brands, and our brands stayed consistent. Our choices were right, because there's a lot of brands that we've done for years that people still come back for. We're not an outfit that it really disappoints me when I see vape shops, especially shops that I'm trying to work with or trying to help to pass on what I know, and what I see is they just rotate their shelves and they just buy just such variety. They get 2 of this, 5 of this, and suddenly they go, oh, we have 55 brands and stuff. That was cool 4 years ago, but right now that's not cool, because if you just randomly bring in loads of different brands all the time, you've no consistency whatsoever.
Yeah, for sure.
And you've no continuity with your flow of what you're bringing in stuff, and you're not really vouching for what your brand is. So you don't even know who you are.
I know a lot of shops that I used to go to in London.
Yeah.
They would bring in specific brands, and you'd have to go to that shop to get that that brand.
Yeah.
But that was the reason I would.
But what happens when you go to that shop and it's not there?
Exactly.
Because all that shop gets caught up in just getting the new thing, getting this, getting that, because that'll satisfy the customer, and that'll satisfy the customer, and suddenly they just spread themselves way too thin.
Yeah.
They can't restock on what they had. We've since 2 years ago when we launched our distribution company properly. We brought in brands from Prohibition, we brought Frost on board, we launched DRS, we did a few American brands. We haven't ventured too far from then since, and the numbers, nothing's gone backwards, everything's gone forwards. People still come back for more, and they're developed brands and they're good brands and stuff, and I just think that's where shops need to be at. They need to decide what it's going to be. If they're going to go against the grain and not stock the popular, consistent selling brands, then they need to find what's theirs and stick with that, but not offer this crazy variety of and I'm not going to name brands, but we all know what I'm talking about. But you see it everywhere, and it breaks my heart, because I just know that it's going nowhere for these shops, and part of me just really wants to help as well.
For sure.
But so obviously when we got to do our own brand, I think we were more prepped than probably anybody.
We done flavours that we liked.
Yeah, that's true.
We didn't deal with what everybody else liked. We just done our own.
With that.
That's what the weird thing was, is that when you make a flavour, when I done gold, and when Mark said I could do a flavour, I actually kind of shit myself when we launched it, because I was I like this, but how many other people are gonna like it, that kind of way. And then when you go to shows and you're standing there and there's people looking at you going this is my favourite juice. So give every flavour that you could have picked to be your favourite. It's the one that I made, kind of way. So it's kind of humbling in a way, because I was always a juice snob. I'd like one flavour from I wouldn't be them people that it's the people that vape custard.
Yeah.
They're
a set person. So they'll vape every type of custard, but they won't vape anything with ice, they won't vape anything with fruit.
Yeah.
And then when I brought out the creme brulee, you give it to people that like custard and they like it, and you're right, I actually did something right. Kind of way. So it's kind of weird.
Were you pleased the demographic? That was the thing.
Without trying to.
Yeah,
you
know what I mean?
And I had the same thing as Marcus. DRS Green was the first flavour that we made, and that was the flavour I wanted to make. And the reason I wanted to make it was, obviously my time and experience being in a shop, I know what sells and I know what kind of pleases the masses and stuff like that. But there was a juice, and I will name a brand here as well because I have to hand it to them. Was Twisted by Ace of Apes.
Yeah.
When they brought that Twister version out and stuff, I just seen people like kill each other over it and stuff, and I loved it myself.
Yeah.
And I love that citrusy, just lime in general and stuff. Like I like it in drinks and stuff like that, and ice pops or whatever and stuff like that. It's just a satisfying flavour, and it's for the masses, you know, that kind of way. But like, even though I knew how good it was when we got our samples in and stuff, I was still afraid of it. But it turned out it's our best seller today.
Nice. Yeah.
It still is. But the reason it's such a good seller is because it's got the citrus, it's got a little bit of kiwi to take the edge off the citrus, and then it's got the coolant, so it's fresh. It cleanses the palate.
For sure.
And that was a problem we had at the time because we've been vaping for so long. You pick up a juice, and I'd like the flavour, and I want to vape it, and then like I'd vape it for 2 or 3 minutes, or even 2 or 3 vapes. And
You just get air.
Yeah.
You know, and it was really
I definitely
disappointing.
felt that a lot. There's like, I actually tried Yogi kind of like re-released recently, and I actually tried it at I think it was Expo, and I tried it on the testers. I was loving it. I was like, oh great, I'm back to it. Like Yogi's back, and then I took it home, dripped it a couple of times.
So I was gonna get
like,
home. Yeah.
Ah no.
It's always someone else's setup though.
Yeah.
It's the someone else's setup thing.
Yeah.
It's always better.
Yeah.
But we did like we set out to do what we wanted with the brand. That was the thing, and obviously, you know, we didn't like arrogantly just like do what we wanted because like obviously we needed to sell it as well. But you know, we had good product knowledge and good experience with customers over the years to know what works for people. So obviously naturally we brought out a strawberry and raspberry and stuff in the line as well. But when it came to releasing gold and why I asked Marcus to do it was, well, obviously I think he'd absolutely bring out a good flavour regardless, but I just hit a block as well, and I needed his input, and you know, in many ways he probably knows more than me in some things, and I might know more than him in some things. But he brought out a peach and passion fruit, which I thought was really interesting because at the time it's very easy to bring out a mango or an orange or something that really satisfied everyone, and it was very hard to find a flavour that would appeal to that demographic without using orange or mango and stuff. And he had tried a drink and stuff, which was peach and passion fruit.
Tesco flavoured water.
I was going to say it was Tesco. And he made it happen, you know. And the thing is, like a peach and passion fruit isn't gonna like take over the world and like everyone's gonna vape it, but it's gonna appeal to a certain type of people who like a tropical flavour. Yeah, for sure. And I firmly believe and know that we absolutely nailed that flavour for those people. So, boom. You know, everything has a story to it and a reason. Like it's not none of it. We didn't just throw it against the wall.
Every dog has his day.
It sticks, you know?
In terms of the sort of like Irish or the sort of culture over in Ireland in terms of the vape scene, like how's it kind of going like now in particular?
It's on fire right now. Like I recently, you know, I've been in America now a couple of times recently, and you know, obviously that's the mecca of this industry. And you know, you walk around and you see people vaping everywhere and stuff, and you see very little people smoking and stuff. And obviously there's millions and billions of people and stuff over there, so therefore it's a massive industry. What I came to realise last time I was there, it's the same amount of people that I see on the streets in Ireland acting the same way. It's the same amount of people vaping, like in terms of ratio to people. Obviously there's more people in America. So I would say we're as developed as anywhere. It's just that we're a small country. And I've seen the change, like, you know, like coming from 4 or 5 years ago when we were trying to pitch premium e-liquids, sub-ohm culture, like I just have to walk down the road now today and I could see 5 people doing it. Yeah, for sure. Do you know what I mean? Like I pinch myself when
that's
I see
kind of what you wanted, like at the end of the day. I mean, when we were kind of like in our bedrooms and just playing around with coils,
being outcast,
being a bit weird,
being weird,
like, watching videos like
getting ripped for giving up smoking.
Exactly.
I mean, like,
I think the reason the Irish industry has advanced so quick too is because of how quick the UK scene has grown too. Like, I mean, it's probably be argued the UK market is probably the second biggest in the world, even if it's on terms of development and it's not on terms of anything else, even if it's measured by there. And usually, like, you know, we're not very far away from each other and we're very similar, like in our culture and stuff, so usually whatever happens on this side comes over to our side pretty quickly.
Exactly, yeah. There's another one that the rest of the team was asking, so
what is it?
If you guys were stuck on a desert island per se, and you had to bring 2 Irish celebrities with you, who would you bring?
I don't even know if there's that many Irish celebrities. Colin Farrell probably, because he's a bit of laugh.
Yeah.
Like he's forever? Am I on this island forever?
I mean,
or just for like a week or
couple. couple months, close to a year.
Oh, that's a fucking
some Castaway
is it
vibes.
a party island then?
until you get found.
You're there. You've got Wilson with you.
Okay.
So you might
So are
not-
we stranded or like
You're
is
stranded.
there amenities
You
there?
are gone.
You probably have to take Liam Neeson
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, of course.
if that's the situation.
Hold tight, Liam Neeson.
Roy Keane.
Come on the show.
No, Kane would fucking
You
kill him.
keep the boys prepped.
Yeah, like I just
Keep us all in check, like, you know.
don't know if Roy Keane can swim.
Have us doing runs on the beach.
Yeah.
So no Jedwood or nothing like that.
No.
Say again.
No Jedwood.
I used to live around the corner from them too.
One of them has no rhythm.
Headbangers.
I seen them at the airport actually recently.
I used to live around
Do
the
you ever notice
corner
one of
from
them
them.
can't actually dance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they can really do much in general. They're a bit mad.
I don't know who the second person is because if I bring Liam Neeson, like, you'd be sorted with Liam Neeson anyway. If he has a phone, especially.
Yeah.
I don't know who else would bring though out of the two.
Bono.
No, fuck Bono.
I don't actually know. That's probably one of the hardest questions I've ever been asked.
Okay, so.
Because I don't like.
Actually,
don't like many.
did I bring this question up? I actually made this question up. This was in a WhatsApp conversation. And you were like, blah, blah, we're not going to ask that. And I was like, yeah. I bet you're going to ask an Irish man stranded on an island. You fucking made this up and you're asking me. Jesus Christ.
I don't.
Just out of spite, I'm going to bring Sinead O'Connor to piss Andy.
Also, Andy Park.
That's exactly right, yeah. She'd just gone missing anyway, she'd be grand.
I heard you guys were on the news recently over in Ireland. How did that go?
Yeah, it was a lot more nerve-wracking than this.
Good.
No, I guess it was nerve-wracking because it was RT News and stuff, but they did an interview, basically in the UK. You guys are very pro-vaping and so is your health services and stuff, and you encourage it and you advertise it as a nicotine alternative that is the most successful and is also cost effective and stuff like that. And again, going back to like we tend to do what the English do as well. That became a big talking point on one of the RT programs at the time. So they got in touch with us, quite flattered because they got in touch and said, we don't want to talk to anyone else, we want to talk to you, but if you don't want to do it, we need to know now. And I was like, no, we'll absolutely do it. It was a big moment. I knew we'd always get that moment.
Yeah.
I wanted it, like, I wanted that, like, validation, I guess.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
you know, it's just like,
And that is true validation to
yeah,
get on
yeah.
TV.
And like a lot of people that text me and stuff, like other shop owners and stuff that I know, and they're like, you know, well done, you know, you got the gig, ha,
Yeah.
you know, they kind of wanted it too.
See, it was though. Remember the year prior, or 2 years prior to that though.
Yeah.
They done a segment on it and they put everything about vaping under the bus.
Yeah.
So they
that's
basically
right,
had a load of
yeah,
people
yeah.
standing in a shop blowing O's, and
Yeah.
that's all they focused on.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
it basically
yeah.
just made the industry look like a joke. Like it
Yeah.
was like one of the main points that was brought up in it, that one of the guys that was in it, it was his hobby. It wasn't that he wanted to give up smoking. That was what he did as a hobby, and it just got blasted.
Yeah, and it was they went on about the hobbyist side in
Yeah.
that particular piece they did like a few years back. And unfortunately, they actually brought a bit of that footage into this recent one that I did. But I was also very nervous in that interview because I didn't want to come from the advocacy point of view, like
Yeah.
you know, talk numbers and statistics and stuff, because that I never was that. I'm not going to be that today.
And I guess like people
let those people down.
almost
you know?
kind of like goes a bit under the rug, because it's almost kind of like you're trying to justify it when you kind of don't need to, if you will.
Yeah, and I feel so strongly about the industry that like I'm happy that the industry has recognition. Why should we have to apologise at this
Exactly.
point? You know, if you want to know and you want to talk about it, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But the whole experience was nerve-wracking. I'm very happy and proud that I did it. I think I did a decent job. I think the whole piece was decent too, because it wasn't one side or the other. It was very fair and in the middle. And I actually learned things from it that I didn't know either. And it was huge for us. It was great for us. It was a good celebration, you know, for all the hard work that we've done and stuff. And I think we did a good job. I'm just glad I'm not doing that interview today, because I was really nervous. Like, I was all grand before I got in.
Yeah.
And I learned this tactic in college that if you just get your energy into your hand and just hold your hand, like the nerves go away and stuff. And even that wasn't working. I was just like rattling and stuff. But I was very aware of like anything I said like wrong in some form of detail would have
You're just gonna get sniped.
could have closed the doors there.
Yeah,
you know,
That's
like-
all fallen stemming from the last interview.
Yeah. But the questions were positive, and the questions were questions. They weren't like to go one way or the other. That was a nerve-wracking experience.
Yeah,
it
for
was.
sure. I mean, but in terms of then the relationship between that sort of interview and what you guys were mentioning before about how kind of like the UK and a few other places are being a bit more proactive and pro-vaping. Like, how's the government sort of situation in Ireland with the vape scene?
I think they've gone against it now, aren't they? There's someone down in Cork doing something about it.
Ireland's just a bit weird, man. Like, we've kind of got this, like, it's grand attitude, you know, like, and it is grand. Like, we're laid back. Like, listen, if you guys keep going the way you go, we'll go that way too.
Yeah.
You know, we've had experience already with, like, you know, the introduction of the TPD laws and stuff, and we've worked very closely with the HSE, and, you know, even they're struggling as much as they're trying to put in a good shift to get on top of what they need to do for the industry. You know, they're still miles behind. And you know, at this stage in the game, to try and fight vaping again and bring it down, like, is ridiculous. I mean, one thing that vaping showed me is how corrupt the world is.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to know how corrupt the world is, just look at vaping, man.
Yeah.
There's countries where they shut it down. There's countries where, like, you know, we have TPD over here and we can only put nicotine in 10 mils, but then you can get 50 milligrams salt nicotine in 60 ml in the USA.
I mean, there's madness going on.
You can go to jail in Thailand if you
that's the
vape.
thing.
You know what I mean? It's absolutely
and the whole
crazy.
Thai thing was crazy because apparently they were doing some stuff like almost like drug sting style break-ins into like shops. It was like SWAT style, like, oh yeah, we got all this stuff, and they were like posing with it in like evidence bags, like it was like cocaine and shit. And it's like, nah, this is weird. Like,
but you get the same punishment in some countries. Like, we had lads I remember, like, years ago, like, in like our first year of business, I think we got that Elements. Remember the 20 ml bottles in? They did a key lime and they did I think strawberry whip.
No, the beakers.
Oh, the pink lemonade. No, but remember the Kuwaitis, the guys from Kuwait?
Oh, they used to come in and buy it and sell it on
30
Instagram.
and 40, you know, they'd be 4 times
They'd sell it on Instagram.
But they took the risk.
Yeah, they'd bring it home and they'd have Instagram pages set up. But like, you'd have these boys coming in and they'd be like, I'm gonna drop 800 notes, and we're like, yeah, alright. Sound, yeah, do you know what I mean? And they clear the whole shelf. The whole shelf, they take everything. It's insane.
Crazy. It's mad.
Yeah, but
I wonder what they were sending it for.
They were selling 20 ml bottles for the equivalent of €100. He was telling us. That's how hard it was to get, and they literally had to like meet up in like hidden areas, like someone's basement or something. They'd all meet up and buy vape juice there off some guy off Instagram
And now vaping's huge in those countries.
Yeah.
And now they have shops.
Now they've
lifted bans and stuff. And now we know that, you know, the real threat of what happened then was, and I hope like big tobacco companies aren't watching this, and if they are, I don't care. They do a lot of shisha tobacco and stuff in those countries, and it's, you know, it's an industry that's in their country that profits people.
Yeah.
And you know, vaping was a threat to that. But the fact that they can just shut something down like so quickly, you know, that was crazy for me that I was saying. But to answer your question, we're in Ireland. We're the last to really do something about anything. To be honest with you, like, you know, that's the truth. Like, everything's grand. We're super laid back. You know, unless something really bad happens, I can't see. Can't see our government going against it. But like, our government's a bit lazy too, and they might not do something to promote it either.
Yeah.
But the thing about vaping, and it's always been this way, is vaping's in the people's hands. And you know, I think they missed an opportunity when vaping first came out. And I say this, and I'm glad they didn't do it, but they should have done this, was they should have just gave e-cigarettes out for free.
Yeah. They
should have just given it to people and said, look, because anything is better than the situation they were in. And it's with the people now, it's too late. It's like the CBD industry, man, it's in the people's hands.
Yeah.
The THC industry, it's huge.
Yeah, but
it's in the
CBD
people's
now
hands.
is...
Try and stop that.
There's a Mexican place in Dublin that's doing CBD salsa now.
Yeah,
that's right, what I'm saying. So, like,
salsa?
Yeah, CBD salsa. Like, that's where CBD is going.
We just shout them out and you'll get a commission.
No, place is manky.
couple free buffets. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, we're reiterating the fact that you guys are Irish and you guys have come out with a new flavour as of recent, the Shamrock Shake.
Yeah.
How's that been going for you guys and everything? Because I knew about a couple of others Shamrocks back in the day, but you know, this is doing the bits.
It's an original one though, because like, nobody knows that, like, I don't know why, but we were at Vape Jam and nobody knew that McDonald's does a mint milkshake at at St. Patrick's Day and calls it a Shamrock Shake. Like, no one knew about
In
that.
the UK?
Well, like,
A lot of people
I'd say about 8 out of 10 people that I said to have never heard of it.
I
So,
didn't
like,
really know for a
I
while.
I
was
knew it
pretty
was a
shocked
McDonald's
about it.
thing, but I thought it was actually an American
Yeah, but
thing.
that's like an Irish thing.
Oh, okay.
Like, regardless
Yeah.
of whether you like it or not. So the year previous, if you say that milkshake was shit,
Yeah.
you're still gonna go and buy one just to say that you had a Shamrock Shake.
Yeah.
So it's like a perfect marketing thing. But I think the one that we did tastes exactly like it, and that's why it annoys me that people don't know what it tastes like, because it's spot on. So everyone's just going off this whole thing of a Shamrock Shake, you know, that kind of way. So I don't know. I've never tried any other ones. Have you?
I'm aware of one, and actually seen it in the shop today. I was going to buy it, but it was £20. I was like, I'm not paying £20 for it. But, you know, like, fuck them, man. We're Irish. Like, we need to own that. And the thing is, I had a little bit of a fear that, like, people didn't know we were Irish. Like, as much as, like, we're Irish, and I see you at a show, and I tell you I'm Irish, and we all joke about being Irish, I just needed people, like, to really know that we're Irish, because the hidden message that's in Dead Rabbit, like, and I've been thinking about this for a while, like, what is Dead Rabbit Society and stuff, and I still don't know, like, you know, it's kind of open. That's what's beautiful about the brand. But I would say it's what ignites, like, the pulse in the Irish bloodline. Like, it's something that represents our bloodline, like, for, like, all through the years, man. Like, you know, we know the story of the Dead Rabbits and stuff in the Gangs of New York film, and, you know, that was the first integration of, like, Irish people in an Irish community in America, and they, you know, just had to get together and fight for each other.
For sure.
And build and put the flag down, and that's really what this brand is. It's us doing
Is this
that
where
again.
we cue Ireland's call?
You know, we're not coming out with leprechauns and Westlife and fucking Sinead O'Connor. You know, we can do shit, like, we can do real stuff.
We're regular
So we
people.
came out
like,
as the Dead Rabbits, and we have that kind of, like, mysterious, endless conversation about what it actually means.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've got something coming about that I'm going to do. We're going to do a couple of vlogs later this year at Expos. We're going to have a bit of fun with that actual topic. But for Shamrock Shake, we just needed to put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
And we all joke ourselves and yous about fucking Irish stuff and all that. But the joke actually was to put on the box that we're Irish.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. I love
well,
that.
we're Irish.
Yeah.
You're Irish. We get it. I was like, no, do it. We need people to know.
Yeah.
And that's actually it's changed us. It's changed us as a brand. And it was meant to be a limited edition piece that we did, and it's here to stay forever.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been going really, really well.
I mean, speaking of the Irishness though, like, got asked what's the favourite potato?
For, like, mash, or like, what do you do
Mash.
with these potatoes?
Plenty of different ones.
I was thinking this the other day.
Morris
so-
Pipers.
I mean, I'm a
Telling
sweet
you,
guy.
yeah.
But, you know, like
See,
russet.
funny
Is
enough.
that a potato?
What?
A russet potato?
Yeah, there's all
No,
roosters.
Roosters.
Rooster-
Wexford Roosters.
Yeah.
You can buy
So
them
I
on the
used to be
side of the
really
road.
big into mashed potato, right? No way. I think you use rooster potatoes. I can't really remember, but, like, that's what you use to do mash. I've recently moved, like, to my own place and stuff, so I had to buy potatoes, like, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't remember which potatoes were best for mash, so I just stuck with baby potatoes, and I just
Fair.
do baby potatoes.
Yeah,
now.
It's the ones with the
Then I
red
crushed them
skin.
with a little bit of butter on the plate.
Red
It's just
Morris-
like-
skins.
Morris Pipers are roosters, yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, yeah.
Then it-
Buy
and
them on
then-
the side of the road. There's these little carts during the summer on the side of the motorways where you stop and buy potatoes and strawberries.
red ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the best ones. Chipping potatoes, I mean, I need to call them.
Are they good for chips then as well?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
There you go.
I mean, I've learned so much more about potatoes now.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Go to any pub in the UK for lunch and you all do a baked potato.
Yeah.
There's more potato variety here than there is in Ireland. Like, it's not even a thing over in Ireland. We don't do, like,
Yeah.
No.
you get baked potato with tuna,
Yeah.
beans, cheese, all that
We've
jazz.
got what?
We're
You
not
have
into that.
chips with a breakfast. We don't
You got
have
the
that.
baked potato actual, like, restaurant that you see in, like, all the
Oh,
shopping
yeah,
malls and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
Another thing that we kind of noticed a lot in the office as well, you know, what's the kind of inception behind the whole come here, go away thing? Like, I need to know because I love it, but, like, I don't necessarily know.
How long have you got?
Yeah, go on.
Come here.
Go away.
Go away is like,
I don't
like
know.
if someone's telling you something like and you don't believe them, go away with that. You know, like, as in it's basically telling someone to shut up, like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
go away. And come here is just, I don't know, it's just
I
a
need you,
thing.
like,
Yeah,
now.
like,
Yeah.
come here.
Yeah.
Now, like, that's
Yeah.
that's like an urgency kind of thing. Like, come here, will you? I need you.
It's important.
Yeah.
To be fair, like working with you guys and making friends with everyone in Prohibition and the relationship that we have and the crack we have, I've learned more about myself and about my Irishness than like has ever been pointed out to me. But, like, I didn't realise how most things we say don't make sense.
Yeah.
But like that's what makes us beautiful. Like that's what is beautiful about art.
That's
like,
why why I appreciate you guys coming around, because I'm always like, there's always new things I'm gonna learn. And it's never a dull moment.
But you will never crack
be reassured if like we say come here, like it's like you know, we've got this under control. Like, that's what we tell you. Like, just come here, like it's all good. Like that's really what come here means.
Yeah.
You know, or it's like it depends on like what tone I say it in. But if it's like aggressive or whatever, it's like
that's true though.
You could be in trouble.
That is true.
That's exactly what it is. Just be reassured when we say it. Like come here, like, come here. I gotta tell you something.
Yeah. If it's loud and aggressive, then you know you've done something fucking wrong.
Now you're gonna get.
And then go away is kind of another way to say fuck off. Yoke, like you still haven't figured that one out.
No, we haven't figured that out.
Nobody that isn't Irish will ever get that.
The way you say thing,
or
thing, whatever you say, like that universal, like when you use thing as a universal like word to like cover anything.
Yeah.
That's what yoke is. But yoke just goes a little bit further sometimes. You know, yoke can kind of mean bad too. Like if you say, you know, a bird she's a yoke.
She's a bad yoke.
You know.
Sorry, Kira.
Sorry, babe. Yeah. What was the whole the welcome to the stream thing about? Like, I don't know.
Right, that was definitely came from me, like, and the lads. We're all avid gamers. Like definitely. I'm one of them freaks that sits and watch YouTube till 3 in the morning. And there's just all them YouTube gamers that constantly be like, welcome to the stream. And I just kept saying it, and then out of nowhere we all just kept saying it. Like, it was like a thing. At an expo, like we'd shout it across the expo hall, welcome to the fucking stream. That kind of thing. It's little things. See, that's another thing that Irish people do. They pick up on one thing. Like every time we go to an expo, we come back with a saying of the weekend. Do you know that kind of way? Yeah. So like, welcome to the stream was one.
There was one, yeah.
So it was just oversaid for the whole weekend, but like, it wasn't like, it never got unfunny.
Yeah.
It got funnier as it went on. It's like we had Miles from Dr. Frost over. And Irish people have this thing of doing, like, where you tell me something and I say, oh, I believe you. Yeah. Or I know that you're not telling the truth, but you just say it, kind of thing. And that was the saying for the whole weekend that we just kept saying
like
it.
When someone really like is adamant about telling you something and they keep fucking talking and it's
and like, you want them to go away. Yeah, I believe you. Go away. Like.
Go away.
Yeah.
Away. Which means...
Is this fuck off?
Yeah, man.
That's the kind of thing like it is. But we were at the point then at that weekend where we were making up situations to try and say, I believe you.
It can be quite genuine as well. Like, it can be a very trusting saying too in terms of like, have you paid that invoice? I'm like, yeah, I've paid it. I believe you.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely believe it. Like you just know how it's said.
Yeah.
But then also equally, if someone says I believe you, then you better have paid that invoice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, do you guys like dogs?
Yeah, 5 of them.
Yeah. You got 5?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Can you say that like Snatch? No.
Do you like dogs? Nah, fuck that.
Do you like dogs?
Do you like dogs?
Yeah, no. We rescue dogs. Yeah, got 5 of them. Well, I consider Bear another dog. Any dog is mine, really.
Yeah.
I grew up with dogs, so.
You're a fan of Bear?
Yeah, I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
serious cat.
Little dog. Absolute rapscallion.
Yeah.
But he's a legend.
Dogs are dogs. Like I've grown up, like I've literally, I don't think I've been alive on this planet without owning a dog. I was born owning a dog. I've had a dog every minute of my life. That's the kind of strange. I don't know what life is like without having a dog. And I kind of. Do you have a dog?
No, I got.
You gonna get one? Ah, right.
It's cat, my cat.
One of them. I'd like to consider myself a dog in a way. Like,
okay.
If I was a dog, I'd be a cool fucking dog.
Yeah,
okay.
You're my dog. Yeah. My dog. You know, there's a lot of people that have been celebrating St. Paddy's Day and everything, like, just that aren't Irish. What's your whole opinion of people that are kind of like, you're almost using it as an excuse to go out and get fucked up?
They're celebrating.
I mean, it's
celebrating
cool.
Paddy's Day. I think it's.
But like,
amazing.
What if they kind of don't necessarily know about the history and?
Doesn't matter. Like I've lived abroad for a lot of St. Patrick's Days, and I find when you're out of the country of Ireland and celebrating somewhere else, it's actually way better.
Yeah.
Because Paddy's Day brings out just the best in people. Like generally, you know, people just. It's the one day where people just really shut off. They go to the pub, they have a laugh with everybody, And geez, there isn't a day like it in the world, man. Do you know what I mean? Paddy's Day is the one. It's fucking top Christmas. Probably more people drinking on Paddy's Day than there is on Christmas, like, you know.
I mean, I still
The
have
whole
actually,
country shuts down, like it's,
and it's celebrated all over
and
the world.
especially if it drops on a Friday.
Yeah.
The weekend of St. Patrick's Day.
But no, I'm all about people celebrating it that aren't Irish. I mean, this is the thing though as well. Ireland, like as a race and as people, like we're so spread all over the world. Like we're integrated in so many different societies that I'm not surprised people believe they're Irish. You know, there's a bit of Irish everywhere. We're the most loved people in the world. You know,
and never heard anyone going away is gonna say how fucking hate Irish.
Yeah, everyone wants to be Irish.
Yeah,
be crazy if you ruled the world.
Yeah,
maybe we do.
No key. What was your guys' highlights for last year, 2018?
Probably the German show, Stuttgart.
So
that was like that rekindled my love for vaping.
Yeah,
I went there and just seeing what I was like 4 years ago.
That's the thing, they're doing it big.
I was just like blown away by. I think it's German people as well. I think they're just it's a serious culture over there. They all really handle themselves really well. You know, the kind of way. Like even the way that show was run, I have to like shout out Ira for that one. He knows how to run a show. That show was ran so well. We done it last minute. We had a small booth, and like he made sure that everybody that came in got to see all the smaller booths and so on. And that's so to go to a show and see the person putting it on, putting in the effort to make sure that the smaller brands that don't have 20 by 20 meter booths with lights hanging off them and shit getting recognition. And we're actually really big in Germany, which is another strange thing. Like and again, certain flavors are obviously going to be big in Germany. So like we noticed that flavors that weren't really selling well for us in Ireland are booming in Germany. You know, that kind of way. So yeah, I definitely would say Stuttgart 100%.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing about kind of like the whole regional thing with flavors. That's what I've been kind of noticing. There's been a lot of differences in regards to like some people, even in like the UK, some people might mess with like fruit ices like in certain places, and then some people might mess with like the more mixed fruits and some other
even
places.
how the industry is out there, like the way they all love like DIY.
Yeah,
there's only like that's a real niche part of it, you know, and like we're probably asked about 2,000 times in one day did we have concentrates.
Yeah,
kind of way. It's a strange one, but that show really rekindled the industry love for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. I think it reignited my passion for the industry, especially on terms of the expo itself, because just the way it was handled, with the way that like people came in and walked around the perimeter, and then when I went outside, like a couple of hours prior to the doors opening, you know, there was thousands of people outside, like, you know, excited to get in the doors,
patiently waiting though,
vaping and shit, and it was just Jesus. Like I thought that part of me believed for a while that part of the industry might have died, and that was kind of sad. So that was huge for me. But what really got me actually was the Dortmund show. That was the Intertobacco show, yeah?
Yeah, mental.
To see, well, obviously everybody knows that, you know, vaping started in a corner of the 7 halls at the world's like biggest tobacco show. Year 2, there was a whole room dedicated to vaping, and then year 3, I think was the year we were there, and I believe there was 2.5 or 3 halls. What really got me was going into the tobacco side of things. And you see these really, like, you see $1 million booths, you know. I seen people come in with entourages to go in and buy cigars and stuff, you know, like billionaires and millionaires. But that wasn't what impressed me. What impressed me was the survival of the tobacco industry, and I have to hand it to them. Like, there's still a niche for what they do, and there's still a craftsmanship in their hand-rolled cigars and their lighters and, you know, Cubans and all this stuff. And I just really saw the future of where this can all go. And that was huge for me. You know, sometimes you just never know.
Yeah.
You know, is this gonna all end
tomorrow?
I mean,
it's strange that you'd even think that there would be a convention or a show based around that.
Yeah.
Like, to have it kind of mingle.
You know what? Like, as much as I seen all that, and I opened my eyes seeing all the cigar stuff and all, it all looks very Moet Chandon, and it's all the same kind of brand style that they go for. And I just remember realizing on, like, we can smash these guys creatively. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no boundaries to what we do.
Yeah.
And I feel like they've all just tied themselves into the same box. But I believe that's where we're going. Like, you know, maybe this year there might be 4 halls. Yeah. Versus, you know, 3 of tobacco or whatever.
I think that's really interesting because obviously, like, us in the industry, we have the opportunity to play around with our brands, to create concepts, to give stories to actual brands and whole companies in general, and you're never gonna get like a Camel or whatever again that could do something with a mascot based around that, because obviously.
But why be Camel when you can be Perp?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what we get out of it. Like, we don't have to follow the mainstream. Like, you wouldn't get an industry like this ever. Like, one of the first things I said when vaping came along, and people thought it was mad. I said vaping has the potential to be big as the music industry, and they were like, "What?" And I was like, "Do you remember the day?" I remember the day. Channel 126 was MTV on TV, and I was like, "What the fuck is their music on TV?" Like, that makes no sense. Now there's like 20, 30 music channels. And people watch music now, and music videos is a big thing. That came from nowhere. And that was, to me, that was the only real new industry that has no boundaries. It's very commercially driven and stuff now, and it's all sorts of sponsorships and product placement and all that kind of stuff. And I still stand by that statement. I think vaping has the potential to be that.
It's going to get to a point, and I think it's going to probably end up being so linked into the mainstream that it's just gonna, I don't know, we're gonna have some big collaborations. I'm waiting for a big company to come up and do a collaboration with one of us in the industry. That's gonna be when it absolutely blows up.
Who's that rapper that has a brand in America now?
I know.
Stunner, what's it called?
Birdman.
And then you have Professor Green over here as well.
Pro Green's got one here.
No, there's endless potential, and it's a lifestyle orientated gig that we do as well, things like that can definitely happen. But again, if those people want to come into the industry and stuff and do it, they better take it seriously. You gotta do your research, make sure you're not just stepping on any toes and just do it well.
That's always going to happen, isn't it?
There's
people that come in and they have no idea what they're talking about.
And then it lasts
they don't even vape.
Do you think anybody understands this except us?
I'd say
this is what plays on my mind, because if you're a big I've seen tobacco companies throughout the years, they've got in touch with me. We've done things like festival gigs for them and supplied tricksters to them and stuff like that. And I've seen companies trying out new products and stuff, especially with TPD coming in. Not going to name any brands, but you see them in most shops, and they've come out with various different products over the years. And I see a lot of those being dormant now on the shelves. And I just know that they just don't get it. And they probably have to come to us to maybe speed things up.
We're the trendsetters and the tastemakers and the people that are actually with the knowledge of the actual industry. And when the big guys trying to get in, they're the ones asking us now, which is a bit interesting. It was obviously completely opposite before, but now.
But do you think general people get it now though? We need them to know.
We're getting there. I mean, Dave Chappelle spent a whole entire show and special vaping a jewel.
But even on terms like friends of yours, do they know what you do at work? Because you have to tell them, or
because I explain it. Anyway? No, because I love it. Because I always explain to them. I mean, I found out about the vaping industry. I started to involve myself in it, and it went from again a little bit of a hobby and a little bit of a way to obviously stay away from smoking to a point now where I'm creating whole concepts and I'm creating brands and I'm creating experiences for people. And the thing that just makes me so happy about it all is seeing something that I've made design wise or even conceptualized in terms of flavors and just seeing people enjoy it. And one of the big things was when we had the booth for Aura at Vape Jam recently, and I've spent about a year and a half working on that brand, and just seeing people kind of react to the augmented reality.
I remember seeing that as well.
Seeing people kind of just interact with it all, and seeing people actually then try the flavors, and especially when they hear that word aniseed, they're kind of oh, I don't know, I don't really want to try that. But then they went out to go and do it, and it's actually this is really good. You're almost bringing people in through the door with the technology and the new sort of
but that's the next step.
Well, you've created this and brought this to life. So from a satisfaction point of view, that's and as a designer, that's huge. And no one's done this in the industry yet either. Among other things that Prohibition have brought to the game as well, which were new and innovative. But as a designer, you've obviously tipped around at other stuff in other industries. How do you find the vape industry versus what you've done?
The vape industry, I think, is just a little bit more. I don't know. When I first got into it, I kind of saw it in a way where, not to toot my own horn, I was there's a lot of bad design.
a lot of
lacking, a lot of more just like a little bit less thought being put into it. But then when you actually, you know, come from a side where you've worked with bigger clients and you've worked with people that are that need that thought in it, when you then apply that same thought process into actually creating something for the industry, it's something that you feel like you could see an advert on TV or see a web banner and be proud of and being like, yeah, that's the
yeah.
And then like when you can kind of feel that sort of experience and when you bring something to an industry just by creating something that looks beautiful or looks cool or looks amazing, it's just really fulfilling. I was
going to say fulfilling it is, no, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
That's like, it's great to see people like you come into the industry, and I've seen some of the work you did today. It was amazing. But I've seen all the stuff that you've done, and I've seen other people come into the industry. I see a lot of people coming in that are like corporate types and marketing types and sales types. I think, you know, the industry for some people has got to a point where they need to kind of call in the troops who can offer maybe a bit of corporate experience or maybe a bit of design experience, whatever. But it's good to see that you've like really embraced it and you find it fulfilling, because I think of myself as quite creative as well. I'm not a designer, but I couldn't do this in anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's freedom to like completely express yourself or
there's so
push boundaries.
So many avenues, and you know, there's so many things we can take advantage of and bring to people. I mean, there's, you know, packaging, there's social media, there's video, there's motion, there's general graphics, there's things for booths, and just when you kind of do it in a way where, one of the biggest things for me was going to Brighton and walking into a random vape shop and seeing Daily Grind there in the window, and I was like, dude, like, it's one of the things I made is like already out here. Like, I mean, it's not necessarily the most distance, but to see something that I made that wasn't in a shop that I know.
Yeah, but they didn't know that you did it.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That's the thing. Like,
I think this industry is great for people that can express themselves without having necessary qualifications. Like, I don't have qualifications in anything. I have a leaving cert basically and a sound engineering certificate, which is like basically nothing. It was just like a filler thing to do something. Like, I hated school, I hated that, but like I never would have thought that I could be. I'm an account manager. You know, I never thought I'd grow up to have manager at the title of my job. You know, kind of like, you're always, when you're in the position that I was in, not having education, you work jobs where you get the shit jobs. So like, you go to work in a restaurant, you're the guy that washes the fucking plates or brings glasses to people's tables. You're never the guy that waltzes in and becomes like a manager. Yeah. You know, kind of way. And then you see people that do that. Like, they've went and done college for this kind of thing and they waltz into a job and you're like, well, why the fuck you're well capable of doing it, but you just don't have it written on a piece of paper. Yeah. Kind of way. And I think this industry has brought like a lot of young, like, smart-minded people and brought them a lot of success because they were able to do what they wanted to do. Yeah. You know
that's a huge point. Like, I remember thinking when the industry first started, the fucking thing that blew me away the most was, I was like, it seemed to me that everybody who applied themselves to the industry, just take like Vape Jam 2015 for example, we all know the people behind the brands. I think it's fair to assume a lot of these people weren't up to very much before this came along. Still had the capacity and the knowledge and the know-how to apply themselves when this opportunity came. Yeah. And that's what I thought, you know, around that time I was saying it would be as big as the music industry and all this, or the potential to be. It was because I realised the people in the room and the people who were doing this were part of a movement and had the qualification to do this, but they just couldn't find anywhere to apply it somewhere along the way. You know, we've all got that mate who's super intelligent and he's creative and he can do this and he can do that, but he just doesn't have a job.
That's the thing.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, when you kind of have those guys that have those crazy ideas, and you know, it's kind of like you don't necessarily maybe have the income or even the ability to talk to the right person to get out.
Exactly.
But, you know, this industry is so grassroots and it's really something that's been created and has thrived through the purpose of actually people creating things. It's never been a massive
forces you to be loud.
Look at what's happened to these people. Like, even look at what's happened to Marcus, for example, or myself. So say Marcus is now, you know, he manages like nearly up to like, Jesus, it could be like nearly 100 accounts if it had to be. He works behind the computer, he's learned a bit about accounts, he does a bit of graphics, he does a bit of design, he does sales, he does marketing, he's managed a shop. He's managed the warehouse, he's done stock control. Yeah. These are all the things that have come along here.
You're forced to do
I've got all those things plus accounting work and ridiculous stuff that I find myself throwing myself into something new and I'm learning every week or two. And I don't perfect any of these fields, but I learn enough to build a structure and to move on. And you know, we're talking about people that like really weren't up to very much or might have, you know, tiptoed around industries like I think a lot of people in the tattoo industry and stuff before.
Yeah.
A lot of the American people and things like that. They weren't like, it's not like they held down big career jobs and stuff. Cause a lot of people went into this industry like in their 30s or 40s and stuff. But to see how far they've come and what they've learned and how people can apply themselves to all those things, and the only motivating factor is this industry and the potential they see in it and what they see. And that to me is a movement, man. Like that's crazy. I'd hate to think what I'd be doing right now. Like,
I don't want to think about it.
Nah.
I don't want to think about it.
Like we're all so blessed for this opportunity. I've
I'd
always
be
said
fucked.
that. And it might be, you know, it might be 10, 20, 30 years before a new industry comes along.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's an industry that has become so self-sustaining, like from literally almost nothing.
Well, if you go back in time, like you look at like the Industrial Revolution, you know, cars came along. That was an industry for a while. You know, it's not very often an industry comes along and becomes as big as it can be. You know.
So like obviously 2019 is the new year. We got a lot in the pipeline. I'm hearing from DRS. Like, what's some of the things that you guys can indulge with us? Like, what's coming up?
First thing, man, it's halfway through 2019. I still think it's January,
it's
man.
absolutely flown, man. It's terrifying.
Time is going so quick, but it's good times as well. What's coming? What's happening? Loads is happening. Obviously, DRS Society's an established brand now. We're about to go into areas of the market that we haven't been in before. We're about to take on the 10 ml market. We're gonna bring some premium, like quality flavors, and introduce them into, you know, the bread and butter kind of 10 ml bottles that people buy in shops and stuff. And we're gonna go into that in a big way. We have a new brand launching, DRS Freestyle, which is going to launch at Hall of Vape in Stuttgart in Germany. I'm super excited about it, as I'm sure you are, and everybody in this room.
I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited.
It's something no one's ever done before. Thank you very much for your help. And there's a lot more. I think you've seen what I'm on about now. Like there's some exciting things coming for the brand. But Freestyle is our first break away from the brand, where we're showcasing creative talent and we're bringing, you know, an abstract style to a brand, and you know, it's an attempt to take things to the next level.
It's gonna be mental.
Yeah, we've really thought about the flavors, and you know, it's really come together. And it'll be the first of many of brands like that we do, or we'll do offspring brands like. It's one I'd love to mention, but I'm not going to because we're about a year away from finishing it. But we want to be known for, we want to be seen for not being afraid to bring a new creative concept to the table, you know, not in the form of a smiley face and a strawberry and a pineapple and a donut. Because I'm like, you're never gonna, like, I'm about brand and I'm about creativity and progress and stuff. And for me, like, I'll never be satisfied. I think there's always more you can do. But I've noticed lately around the industry that, you know, the game has been stepped up and the quality is there, and there's serious effort going into brands. And so we're really, really excited about Freestyle. I think Freestyle is gonna, I don't know, I'm a bit scared about launching Freestyle. It's huge. It really is, and until people see it, they'll know what I mean. But it's amazing. Very grateful that it's ours, and very grateful that we have it, you know.
It's a definite, I think it's a definite almost like 180. Not like in a bad way, but it's more in a way where it's kind of like, whoa, like, I don't know if people are gonna expect it. So,
and I suppose as well, we've another secret weapon. We've one or two. One of them is going to come out in the form of what we sort of did with Shamrock Shake. I think it's best to keep that one quiet. But other than that, I think on terms of the brand itself, we're kind of we revisited like what the concept of the brand is and what it means to us, what it means to people, and where we want to go with it and stuff. Like the brand DRS Society, you put that on anything, put it on a jar of butter, put it on a tub of milk, whatever, man. It's just a solid, beautiful brand. And I tread carefully sometimes with it because I don't want to disrespect the brand, because I just think the brand is so strong and it's so good, and there's other things I'd like to do with the brand, and that I will do outside of vaping. So it's an endless thought in my mind. I go to bed with it, I wake up with it. But look, there's fucking so much to come, man. You know, it really is.
I've got a couple of quick fire questions for you.
Oh, you got to it.
It's some close ones. I'm interested to see what you
Are
guys
you
think.
gonna go like 1, 1, 1, 1, or are you just gonna hit it?
It's an and or an or. It's a
Okay.
or. So, McD's or Nando's?
McDonald's.
I know where this came up.
No.
Because we talked about that last time.
McDonald's 100%.
Nando's.
Nando's. Ooh. Nando's.
If I had to leave on Nando's or McDonald's, it's gonna be Nando's.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course. Apex or Fortnite? For you, Marcus?
Fortnite shout out, Damo.
For sure. Rabbits or foxes?
What did you say?
Rabbits or foxes?
Probably rabbits.
Has to be rabbits.
You don't see a lot of rabbits knocked down. You see fuck
Just got
tons of
really
foxes
angry
down.
there 'cause I realised fucking foxes probably kill rabbits, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Just for the record, we've never killed a rabbit.
No.
Ever.
Yeah.
It might say it on the words, guys, if you don't kill rabbits, I don't eat them.
Do you know what the purpose of the dead rabbit was?
Nah.
So, when the dead rabbit gang in New York, when they would have a fight in the 5 points, like, because, you know, different people would fight from the different sections, they would slice a rabbit and leave it out where they're going to fight the night before to let people know not to be there.
Not to be there.
To have a fight. It's not like they just went around killing rabbits.
Wow.
Start doing that at expos. That's
Talk
where our
about it,
boot's
yeah.
gonna be.
Get a little plushie or something.
Yeah.
Upset the vegans.
Don't go near that boot.
Alright, Sinead O'Connor or Sinead O'Connor?
Oh, I don't even like Sinead O'Connor. She's a
Sinead
head case.
O'Connor. I served Sinead O'Connor
No way.
once, yeah, when I used to work in a restaurant. She wasn't very nice to me. She wanted pineapple juice, like,
Yeah.
you know, I just didn't have any pineapple juice. Like, it's not a cocktail, but
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
orange juice or apple.
Yeah.
Of course, I had to go get her pineapple juice.
No,
I now have no option but say Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
She got me twice.
You got what you wanted, Andrew Park.
You got it.
Yeah. Fair
Fuck
play.
you,
Fair
Andrew.
play to you, mate. Yeah.
Fun time, yeah. Jedward or Louis Walsh?
Who?
Jedward or Louis Walsh?
Oh, fuck's sake.
Has to be Louis was.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
Louis.
stick them two muppets.
Lucky Charms or Frosties?
Frosties.
Frosties, cool.
Do you know Lucky Charms, right?
Yeah.
You can't really buy them in Ireland.
Yeah.
And another thing I learned about Lucky Charms, all the different like charms, the marshmallows, it's all the same flavour.
It's a lie, people. It's a lie.
Yeah.
Fucking lies all the time. Alright, cool. And Billy or Phil?
Ooh,
That's
that's
a
a
I have to
tough one.
say Billy. Because I know
Yeah.
Billy more than Phil.
yeah, Phil.
I think Phil's bark's worse than his bite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scares you. Like a year ago would have been, oh yeah, Phil. Like,
Yeah.
but because I've heard the stories.
Yeah.
But no, I love them equally. But like, I have to say Billy. You know what I
I'd say
mean?
Bill.
Got a few open invoices at the moment.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm inclined. I don't have to say anything. They are both my work partners. I cannot say anything. It's obviously Bill. So anyway, guys, thanks a lot for coming along. Came
Thanks for
all the
having us.
way from the Isles to come and see
Took us
us.
fucking ages to get here.
To say this, we were gonna do this video a little while ago, but not enough time. But hey,
It was
Yeah,
good
no.
to do it now. I think
Yeah.
it would have been too stressed back then and stuff.
Definitely.
You know?
I mean, pre-jam would have been a bit mad.
Yeah.
It would have been a bit mad. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching the video. You know the rest. Subscribe. Do the
Oh,
bits.
I got you a present.
You got me a present.
Yeah,
We got you a
'cause
present.
someone
though.
told me they got a present and I see it now.
You're gonna bring it in.
We can do it to try it. We can
Do
do
the
it. It's
trade.
Christmas.
Trade it over.
See the two tiger bags over
They
there.
buy us a bag of potatoes with a British flag on it.
This is some Maris pie potatoes for the people.
So, Jax told me that you got us a present, right?
Okay.
And I obviously I broke my phone earlier, so I had to go down to Maidstone and I had a wander.
Okay.
And like I thought really bad, like I thought I was getting an English jersey or something like that. I definitely don't want to.
Fuck's sake.
So that's
I'm
one
scared.
for you and that's one for Jax. Basically what it is, right? It's what is it again?
Doesn't even know what it
It's
is.
for your car and it's a rabbit
pom-pom
and you
animal.
make it yourself.
Oh, that's
It's got
dope.
pom-poms and stuff. Yeah.
I like that.
And they're wonky on
I mean,
the
it
eyes
looks
and stuff.
wonky as hell there,
So you can
but.
have a bit of fun with that.
Alright, guys.
I was going to
thanks
get
a
you a
lot, man.
rabbit money jar.
Yeah. Where did you
It was
find
just
one?
too fluffy and cute, man. You know, I was like this big guy, like. So, I expect them to be in their cars.
Yeah.
I want to see what. I want to see the
we
result.
gotta get
here.
them up.
No excuse.
You
Like.
gotta get them up,
I would
man.
stick one of these in your exhaust.
Yeah. All right, man, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for coming along. You guys know the rest. Subscribe to us on the Instagrams as well. Prohibition_vapes. Check the guys out from DRS. What's your guys' Instagram handles? And
DRS Juice.
DRS Juice.
Yeah.
Cool. And we're out now, guys. We'll check you out on the next one. Peace.